Thank you, Donna, for the lovely intro. What an incredible match that was between Virginia and SoCal. And as Donna mentioned, I am iFlame, joined by Hubwubba, and in a moment, we are going to be switching over to the Washington-Oklahoma match. This is going to be a tough match to follow up, but we'll certainly do our best here on the late nice USC cast. How are you doing this evening?
Hey, how's it going? I made a beef pie, got some coffee for the occasion for our final match of this Sunday evening block here. Washington versus Oklahoma. Washington been on a bit of a tear after their unlikely wipeout at the hands of, I believe, Florida? I might have to double check that, but I think it's Florida. Or no, it was New York. New York beat them 5-2, and now they've been kind of running things in this losers bracket, doing just fine, being a part of these 6-1 streaks over the course of this weekend.
Yeah, we've seen, of course, both these teams play their matches already, and I believe we are just getting to warm-ups. Of course, Washington has to have their warm-up played on screen. Both of these teams, actually, one of the few teams, actually I'm sure quite a few teams do, but these two teams have some of the best warm-ups in the USC. They've always had their own state warm-ups. They like to play every single match, and they're usually pretty good.
Yeah, I always love the personalized warm-ups when they're real maps. Washington, unfortunately, getting Uma Musume from the earlier rounds ripped away from them due to DMCA purposes. But Oklahoma, keeping their Oklahoma chant.
Is that why Washington changed their warm-up? They're just getting DMCA'd?
Yeah.
That's so sad. Their last warm-up was so good.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I am privy to the Oregon one with Varwer rapping over it. That one is lovely.
That one is great as well. The new Washington warm-up is solid as well, but it's not quite the same, you know? I think it's a little bit of nostalgia.
Yeah, and Washington, they're trying to slip in an old player again. RME fan is not a player on this Washington roster this year. This is the second match in a row where they've slipped him in the warm-up. Maybe the ref will notice, but
no one needs to know. Nothing suspicious going on here. Just a fellow Washington gamer into a warm-up for their USC match that's taking place right after the warm-ups. And while we wait for the warm-ups, I will say Washington has put up some very strong scores this weekend. We've got some quarterfinal stats out, and Washington currently have the best hidden one score by just under 1 million points, which is a little bit absurd. So sadly, I don't think they're going to be allowed to play that one again.
Yeah, almost surely they will be double banning hidden, as we've seen many teams do throughout this round. These hidden picks being the bulk of the gimmick maps in this pool. DT4 not being as comfortable of an option for those gimmick players due to the tapping requirement needed, and getting both of those skill sets in order at once is a tall task for a lot of these players. So double hidden bans coming up for a lot would be not so surprised to see Oklahoma fall in suit.
Yep. Hopefully, the warm-up is not so much a sign of what's to come, as this map's a little hard. It's kind of all over the place. It is completely unplayable, but they're going to do their best. You have to admire Vince having very brave and taking the hard rock on this pick.
Conrad can aim, holy. Look at this guy go.
Yeah, Conrad is actually kind of hitting some of these patterns.
That's the first battle. If you win the enemy team's warm-up, it's like a moral blow to them. So Conrad getting that one out of the way, getting that extra buff before match.
It looked like RME wanted to say hello, Washington, but drawing was a little bit big. Maybe misjudged his screen space a little bit, got through 2 letters, and realized that the map was over.
Ref, we cannot use this one. I believe this one has been banned. It's gonna get the VOD muted.
And as long as TNG doesn't find out, it'll be okay. He'll find out when he looks at the VOD. He goes to upload the VOD, and it's muted. But until then, it'll be okay.
Yeah, T1G won't know that we're that we're rooting for the downfall here for the sake of this cool warm up. And on the Oklahoma side, I'm actually going to take a look and see which scores they performed highly on over this weekend, because they have played many maps. They were one of the teams that went to tiebreaker early against Arizona, of all teams, having a hefty tiebreaker win there. And going to see some standout scores from them.
Yeah, unfortunately for Oklahoma, I did take a look at some of the scores from their last match, and they're pretty rough. Given the context of the other matches that we've seen, they had a couple scores. I think it was the Fremont 3 and the DT2, where they had the absolute bottom scores of the tournament. So hopefully we do see some stronger scores from them today. But just looking at the scores from the two matchups so far, Washington are going to be heavy favorites in this one.
I see, yeah. Some mechanics being favored potentially, not speed from the looks of it. Perhaps an opening for Oklahoma being hard rock and general low aim picks, such as a hidden 3 or a free mud 4. But that is improvements pending.
Yeah, it's a very awkward matchup stylistically for Oklahoma, because I think we've seen teams take points off of Washington by going for some of those more tapping-focused maps and opting into speed. Oklahoma is not a speed team either. They're not going to be really looking to pick speed into Washington. And what Oklahoma does prefer to play, like you said, are going to tend to be some of those hiddens that Washington is one of the best teams in the tournament on. And so that's a little unfortunate for Oklahoma, is a lot of maps they would normally like to pick are going to be Washington picks this time around.
Yeah, and it's not even really a low AR thing. It's just like a general consistency thing for this Washington team. We're going to be seeing probably the hidden 1, hidden 2 banned out just by virtue of them being the quote-unquote easier options, being reading focused rather than super densely in the mechanics department. For example, the hidden 3 being more of an aim map than a reading map, despite that AR8 attached to it.
Honestly, I just want to see free mod 1. It was banned out against Washington in their last match, understandably, but that left the hidden 1 open. Washington proceeded to top score it by a very, very big margin. So hopefully, Oklahoma might consider leaving the free mod 1 open in favor of hidden 1 ban, and we get to see Washington play Dumb Surfer. That would be fun.
Yeah, that one being open to a lot of these gimmick teams, which is always a good time to see reading not be banned for once in favor of banning that much harder and low AR option. Because at least Dumb Surfer is memorizable and like more easy to access. AR8 hidden aim with CS5 is a bit more like specialist level.
As a side note, we saw the first No Mod 1 all weekend in the last match. 0 presence before that pick. And I just had to shout that out. You know, at least it was played once, even if I don't see it in our last couple matches this weekend.
Yeah, good for the culture. See all the maps pick.
Good for data at least. You know,
Good for
let's see
Tata.
his pool played. And you can say, see, it was a great pick for the pool. It was played. Big success.
Yeah, That last matchup was actually pretty dense in less popular picks. The LBR3 also being picked for the second time after that New Jersey-Washington match earlier on in the week.
The one thing I appreciated about the old Washington warm-up is that it was nice and short. This is a long one.
Yeah, that was like 3.5 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think we just need to cut every USC warm-up in half. Just go into the editor, find the halfway point, and just delete the entire rest of the map.
But now, I believe they did rolls beforehand, so we do not get the privilege of seeing them roll it up, but we can see their options, and it will be second ban for Oklahoma side, a pretty popular option as the pool widens up, trying to figure out what Washington is thinking in their differences as teams. And Washington staying confident, going for first pick.
Yep. We wave goodbye to Army fan. Did make a guest appearance. This Washington roster, very, very experienced, especially between Verderix, who's been the captain forever, and Conrad. I mean, these guys are some of the longest standing USC players, have been playing for probably 6 to 7 years. I don't know exactly, but a quick FreeMod3 ban from Washington.
Yeah, not giving them the option to gamble that hard solo section. The consistency requirement just for a big blow up, not really going to be suitable for them. And Oklahoma actually opting for speed bans, no mod 4 being taken out, perhaps believing that they will fare better on the reading than the tapping mechanics, that backup mechanics roster that Washington has of Vince, Warpscon, and Conrad. Definitely something to worry about.
Yeah, Washington, not known for their speed, but Oklahoma, known for their speed even less so, as I think tapping is going to be, well, speed is going to be very much avoided by both teams unless Washington really wants to pick the speed for some reason. I mean, is there a chance they leave the hidden one and the free mod one open? That would be a lot of fun, but also probably not great pick ban strategy.
Yeah, not ideal strategy, but
fun
definitely
for the viewers. Not so much fun for Oklahoma.
And I mean, they must be doing something right with their ban strategy, because Conrad was very distressed at that no mod 4 ban.
Yeah, Conrad is one of their faster players, I think, along with Warpscon. I think tend to be the two in for the speed pick. No mod 2 now banned out for Washington. We're not going to be needing ARP binoculars today, as Oklahoma can only ban out one of the hidden one, free mod 1. I have to imagine it's going to be the hidden one, but maybe they want to give us a show.
And surely hearing or looking at the chat in some way to know that Washington has such scores on hidden one. I don't know what else they would ban other than that free mod 1, I guess, if they're really not feeling it.
I mean, I feel like they have a lot of options. Obviously, the hidden one should be the ban. But if they, for some reason, really didn't want to ban the hidden one, they could go for free mod 1, hidden 3, something along those lines. And it's going to be the free mod 1 instead. So Washington, after their previous hidden 1 performance, are going to be able to put on another show for us on that one. And I'll reiterate once again, they have the top hidden 1 score in the entire tournament by about 800,000 points. Last time we saw it play, it was very nearly a 3-way FC. I believe it was a 2.8 million team score on the pick, with Dantrix finding the full combo. We'll see if they can top that score, but they do have the first pick. I imagine it's going to be the HD1, but they're not necessarily in any rush to pick it, so we'll see in a moment.
Yeah, and with such strong options on the table, we're gonna see if they decide to gamble early or is go straight into the ones that they know they're gonna win. Plenty of time to do so. And it's PT4 actually. We're gonna be hopping into that lower approach rate, more tapping dense pick. The density coming from the finger control and bursts. There's some overlap streams in the second half that have struck out players as well. If you're not well practiced on this one, you're definitely in for a bad time as a second reading option for this pool, just without those hidden modifications.
Yeah, this is a very tricky map, one that Washington have put up a good score on, being currently second overall, but only 1.6 million. Just that gives you an idea of how difficult this map really is to build up a really good combo on. We have seen other teams put up somewhat comparable scores, but Oklahoma, not a team we've really seen play much of this style of map, at least in their previous match this week. And so we're going to be seeing Conrad, Fredericks, and I think Athantrix in for this one on the side of Washington. Asian, Bazinga, and Amia for Oklahoma. Should be into the first map shortly.
Yeah, and it could just be because this is a reading pick that there was a rumor floating around that one of their star players, White Gat, is missing currently due to a pen-related issue. Either it's broken or it's missing or some sort. Unsure of how true that is, but word on the street.
Yeah, that makes it quite difficult to play the game. Maybe he needs to learn to play trackpad quickly or something. But if that's the case, we probably won't be seeing White Gat at all in this match, which is unfortunate for Oklahoma because White Gat was one of their best performers throughout this tournament. And so that would be a big loss if that is the case. And that might be maybe just forgot to pack the pen. That is a tragedy. We'll see if the DT4 is also a tragedy for Oklahoma as we get into it. And Asian already with pretty rough accuracy down to 85. Washington looking a lot more comfortable on this one. Accuracy is relatively strong, except for Conrad, who is falling behind a bit. But with the misses, with the accuracy, Washington only took about 5 seconds to build up a 100,000 point lead.
Yeah. Go next. Quite unfortunate. Quite often it is the case that your reading options and your tapping options are quite split. I'm sure plenty of these players favorable on tapping maps of some sort, but Oklahoma definitely not known as a tapping team, and Washington barely so. Luckily having a player like Conrad and Ethan known for both of those skill sets, and having fantastic accuracy on Verterix, actually still holding on to the 97 in this first going here, and still having the time to draw his signature seal.
You know how about this might be the earliest I've ever felt quite confident in saying that a map is completely over. It's the 3-way FC, and somehow Washington has nearly 6 times the score of Oklahoma, and we've still got half the map to be played. There's just no combo anywhere to be seen on Oklahoma. There misses left, right, and center. Accuracy is just non-existent. And unfortunately for Oklahoma, as it turns out, the GT4 is going to be a little bit of a tragedy. And I think the question is now, what kind of a score can Washington put up on this one? Because they are very quickly approaching one of the best team scores on this map in the tournament. But Verterix does find the first miss for Washington. A third of the way into the map, it's now Athantrix and Conrad holding strong.
Yeah, and I do need to, with that Athantrix break, unfortunately I don't think they will be hitting the top of the top unless Conrad manages up an FC. I believe, I forgot who it was in the last match, but somebody FC'd it for the first time. Gonna have a second look-see at that. It was Ricoel, actually. Ricoel getting the first FC on this PT4 here, and with a massive team score to boot of 2.6 million. Almost certainly the top score of the weekend, the way that this one is going. But probably a close third to be rounded out, as Virginia got 2 million in their own right.
Yep. Washington going to be quite comfortable in closing this one out. Conrad. We'll see if Conrad can hold on. The ending of this map does have some incredibly tricky patterns, and we've seen quite a few combos be claimed into the ending, so it'll be very impressive to see Conrad hold on here, and looks like he might be able to do so. Just needs to hit the last stream and finds the miss right at the end.
No,
that is
that
devastating.
chain miss. He was so close to getting number 2. Wait, surely come back? No, that's so unfortunate. If he didn't chain miss that final stream, he would have overtaken Virginia's score just barely. But plenty good for this matchup. Somebody do the math on that. That's near 10 times the score for them against Oklahoma here. Just a go next type of pick. Kind of unfortunate. It's a little lengthy, but they got over it. They lived.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not 100% sure. I don't usually keep track of these stats, but that has to be close to the biggest score gap that we've seen all USC. And I agree. Very, very close one. Oklahoma, right in the DT4. You know, they just needed 1 or 2 less misses, and they could have had it.
Yeah, and we're probably going to be seeing the opposite route here, and it is pretty close to it. Not opting for Hard Rock quite yet, but we are opting for Doku 3 Mod 2. This one going to be featuring plenty of high velocity sliders and 220 BPM burst, triples, finger control, you name it. Very awkward control speed double up pick.
Yeah, we haven't seen any easies yet on the free mod 2. It's not really an easyable map, but you know, until the match has started and we see the mods on the screen, I can keep hoping. Realistically, it is just going to be Hidden Hard Rock and no mod. Very few teams opting to overmod this pick, Oklahoma actually being one of them, as Whitecat did take the Hidden Hard Rock and put up a decent score, but maybe not here for this one, in which case we're not going to be seeing any overmods whatsoever, and Oklahoma is going to need to find a Hard Rock fill for this map.
Yeah, you would think Easy wasn't picked, but actually, as the California match was going on, Boshi Man, of all the players, he got 218k doubled up, so about a 436k on the Easy on Doku, and his team barely lost by 10k. So
that's
so tragic.
That win. And I think Eyes on Zynga is going to be filling the Hard Rock in place of Whitecat, who is currently not here in this match. And so we'll see what kind of a score they can put up. And looking comfortable enough on the Hard Rock so far in terms of combo accuracy is suffering a little bit, but that's kind of what you expect to see on the Hard Rock mods on a map like this. We see Conrad, very, very strong Hard Rock player, struggling a little bit more in the accuracy department as well than some of the non-Hard Rock players in the lobby.
Yeah, and Bazinga gonna be finding that break to swap out Coolnuck's earlier break into double break for Asian, and Coolnuck and Conrad will be leaving it 1-1 now, the hidden players being the top performers here. A slight lead to Oklahoma by nature of less breaks, but that Omnia break will be slowing things down tremendously, and it's Ethan Tricks to bring it here for the Washington side.
Yeah, and Ethan Tricks holding on through that KI section. Now it's a bit of a slower section to really build up this combo and grow the score lead. Even Coolnuck for Washington has built up a bit of a supporting combo to push the score lead even farther in favor of Washington. Now it is being matched by Asian, but they're going to need a miss from the Fan Tricks very soon if they want a chance to make a comeback. Or Ethan Tricks.
you got there.
You know, it's sometimes it takes a few tries, but as long as you get there in the end, right? As 3 more misses from these players, 2 of them for Oklahoma. But unfortunately, none of those misses were Ethan Tricks, and so none of them are really going to matter. as Ethan Tricks is just going to run away with this one.
I mean, it's definitely a start in the right direction for Oklahoma. You are missing your star Hard Rock player. Your Hard Rock guy is having a little bit of a bad time, but not a terrible time, all things considered, for a last-minute switch-up. And, if they had an opportunity, there's potential here in similar mechanics picks, just perhaps a bit too volatile for their needs and too wary of a carry performance from someone like Ethan Tricks, who's very comfortable on these skill sets individually, the high velocity sliders and the tapping elements, and really has been working on his accuracy these past few months, closing out a 98% FC here.
Yeah, very impressive score from Ethan Tricks. Oklahoma giving up a very early break point, but yeah, Washington didn't even need those scores from Kulnuk or Conrad Mitten. But it's improvement from Oklahoma. They tripled their score from the first map. According to my estimations on Washington's next pick, Oklahoma should be able to put up a 2.7 million score. And we'll see if the theory holds up, as Washington still have hidden one. And in fact, they still have quite a number of hiddens, and they have free mod one. So no shortage of options here.
For sure, and speaking of options, the speed abuse has begun, and Washington is picking DT2 since No Mod 4 was banned. And that's the downside to banning out like your weaknesses, but only one of them, you think, oh, let's get rid of one speed and one reading, and then we'll be good. But now they know that you're weak on speed and reading, and they're just going to pick into that,
I mean, yeah, Washington feeling confident enough they don't even need to touch the hidden one so far in this match. They're just going to go right back to those DTs, as you mentioned. Another faster pick after that earlier No Mod 4 ban from Oklahoma. This is the other kind of very fast pick left open in the pool. This is the kind of map I would generally expect to see WarpsCon in for on the Washington side. We'll find out in a second. Vince should be subbing in as well.
Yeah, the 10.3 difference coming into play here. These players, the more higher ranked, more versatile in skill set, very comfortable on just double time. Kulnuk also filling out that third spot. Fairly new additions on the Washington side here to fill out these DT roles, and has been getting some pretty high scores over the past couple of weeks. Excited to see how they will follow up on this DT2. And Oklahoma figuring things out on a bit of a higher AR pick, definitely favoring them a bit more than the reading tapping hybrid.
Yep, I mean, there's nowhere to go but up from Oklahoma. So we'll see what kind of a score they can put up on this map, and I'm actually very curious how Washington can do, because they really haven't performed well on a lot of the speed picks throughout this tournament. Of course, I do favor them over Oklahoma, but I'm curious at the end of this map where they're going to stand relative to the rest of the teams in this tournament, as it's just going to be early misses traded by Kulnuk and Asian, and it's actually going to be Bazinga finding another miss for Oklahoma. So now 2 FCs to 1 very early on. This is a long enough map that Oklahoma will have time to recover those combos, but that requires them to actually hold on to their combos. Unfortunately, Mia and Bazinga and Asian now as well find chain misses. Kulnuk is on a recovery, and Washington is off to another very strong start here with 2 FCs still going.
Yeah, and a map like this not being pure stamina is probably in favor of Washington in comparison to the one they opted to ban that No Mod 4. And just because a lot of these DT players are DT aim players, and this map is a bit less stamina dense, it's only that speed artifact with the 10.3. WarpsCon finding another break, but actually Oklahoma coming through with a bit of recovery here. If Washington falls for a disaster of their own, there is potential here, only 400k difference with the final third, but there is a diff split coming up at the end, and that slider break from Bazinga will definitely be slowing things down.
Yeah, it's now 500,000 points to score lead, and Vince Kulnuk still on absolutely massive combos, and Oklahoma don't have any combo to make a comeback with. We do see Vince and Cole. It's actually a three-way reset for Washington, but again, no combos on Oklahoma. The time is up. They're not going to have enough time to build up the combos they need to make a comeback. And unfortunately for Oklahoma, it's just rough having the player missing. This was one of the maps in their last match that they had the lowest score in the tournament, and that was with Whitecat putting up 500k. It was their best score that match by about 300,000. And so unfortunately Oklahoma not able to improve on their previous DT2 score, and I imagine we'll have the bottom two DT2 scores of this tournament.
Yeah, it's tricky, especially on a map like this where some of the quirks of older style mapping come into play and force more control to be had. For example, those slider ticks in the middle of the sliders. If you under aim just the slightest bit on that, as is common with these higher approach rates, it's just another place to break and another place to fall. And Washington overall, they have the backup roster for it, so they utilized it and are able to capitalize on this big weakness on the Oklahoma side. These big volatile skill sets on the reading and the speed. You either have it or you don't. And Oklahoma, in this case, more used to the traditional picks.
Oklahoma, of course, they do have the next pick. They're going to have another chance now to try and put something together. They're going to be going for free mod 4. And this is one of the picks that Oklahoma was able to put up a stronger score on, but once again, it was Whitecat playing the hidden for Oklahoma last time they played it, putting up the top score for them. So I think we are going to have probably Bazinga on the Hard Rock. Takasaki would like to be on the no mod, but can play the hidden quite well, so I imagine is going to be taking hidden this time around to replace that lost hidden. And Takasaki, if you're listening, you should try easy hidden on this map. It would be a whole lot of fun.
It would be really cool.
Very cool, I agree.
I mean, he's kind of hinting at it in the chat here. He's hinting at some sort of mod differential.
Yeah, the only reason I say it is because Takasaki is just insanely good at easy. Like, I mean, probably the best. I don't know. I shouldn't say the best easy player in this match, considering how good the reading players on Washington are. But Takasaki, very much an easy player. Free mod 4, not generally the kind of map you take easy on, but in a match like this, you never know what you're going to see.
Come on, Takasaki, do it for the fans. Do it for the fans around the world.
Viewers.
Do it for Whitecat watching at home.
Bad.
Mr. Jeffrey09 in the chat. Do it for him.
We're not going to get the easy. Despite my best efforts to influence this match, we're not going to be seeing the easy. I'll keep trying, Hugwubba. We will have more easies in USC one day.
Oh no, Kali shouldn't have said that. They're gonna keep on using words with ref in it. And
yeah, I'm sure none of the players will want to abuse that whatsoever.
And we do have our rosters. Pretty interested to see no Conrad here. This map doesn't have much of a stamina requirement, but perhaps just a general stream comfort from Cool Nook, despite the act drops early on, having a bit of an adjustment period from the 10.3 in the last one. Ethan Trick's actually going hidden Hard Rock, which is a pretty untapped thing here, and we're already seeing it being to the benefit of the Oklahoma side. It's 2 FCs down to now 2, but a little bit later, and it all falls apart. Cool Nook's the only one with combo.
And Cool Nook holding combo no longer, as everybody is just getting obliterated by these stream patterns. They are incredibly difficult. Rhetoric's the only one managing to get through them, but had dropped the combo a little bit earlier, so only up to 270. And despite the continued misses from Oklahoma, it's actually going to stay relatively close because Washington hasn't held on to their own combos. And Oklahoma definitely still has a shot at this one, but they need to start to build up some combos and find some way to match Rhetoric's on this 400 combo. Here we go into the next big aim section.
Yeah, the next big space stream isn't going to be for a while. A lot of this middle section is more just general aim and mechanics patching. Amiya does find another break there, and Verderix on a big comeback now, despite the Ethan Tricks break. But there we go, there we see it. Bazinga's dead, also on a pretty solid combo on the Hard Rock, already almost surpassing his score on the Hard Rock from last time. And being rewarded for it here with a bit of an easier section. But as long as Verderix holds, it pretty much solidifies this lead for the Washington side.
Yeah, but the combos are big for Oklahoma. If we see a miss from Verderix, Oklahoma have time to make the comeback in this one. They do have the supporting combo from Coolnut to worry about that would slow things down a little bit. But Oklahoma are far from out of it, only down by 200,000 with combos this big. Is recoverable. What's the miss from Verderix? It's going to need to come pretty soon as they're very quickly running out of map. Amiya finds the miss and not going to help their case as it seems like all three players on Washington have now recovered quite nicely as into the last stream section here at the Ethan Tricks finds a miss. There goes Verderix!
Wait,
Bazinga's and
still
Takasaki both
holding
put
on
up
the
their
Hard Rock.
combos. Coolnut is trying to fend them off, but I'm not, okay, there's both players gone, and that's going to do it for Oklahoma.
Still, what an improvement from Bazinga here, getting... Here, let me double check this. Yeah, Bazinga got 286k on the Hard Rock last time with a B rank, and I mean, depending on act drops, he might get a B rank again, but that is still a 200k bump from his last run. And Takasaki Yu bumping his score by 20k, and not bad at all, just kind of a third man issue. White Cat was their hidden player on this map, and it's shown by Amiya just getting a bit struck out here.
Yeah, Bazinga and Takasaki keeping this one competitive. You have to feel bad for Amiya. This is not the kind of map that is fun to be forced to play hidden on, especially if it's a map you weren't expecting to play and probably haven't practiced a ton. It is really brutal on the hidden. So unfortunate there. I don't think you really could have expected much more having to fill in for this map on such short notice. But a valiant effort regardless. And Washington now has the next pick. They're not going to bother with the hidden one. They're going to go for the hidden 3 instead.
Yeah, and after seeing a hidden weakness in a more standard map, I mean, hidden streams are a sore spot for plenty of players, but now we're going to be opting into more hidden mechanics, the hidden aim, PS5, big jump.
Yep. And I think the hidden 3 was banned out against Washington in their last match, so this is going to be their chance now to play it. And maybe they've decided, you know what? We've already conquered hidden 1. We've beaten the map. There's nothing more to be scored there. We'll just pick other things and show off our skills there.
Yeah, and they do have an opportunity to break out the highest score on this map this weekend. There's only been played in 2 matches. It's Carolina Kanzuri played it and Tennessee State was played it. Definitely potential here is that top score is only 2 mil.
Yeah, and we've got Asian, the Oklahoma player in chat, not wanting to play the hidden 3, understandably. It's not a fun map if you're not a hidden player. But I can't say that gives me a lot of confidence in Oklahoma going into this one. Maybe they can pull off something crazy and upset Washington here. It is going to be Bazinga, Takasaki, and Amiya once again trying their hand at this hidden 3, but Washington, one of the strongest rating rosters in the tournament.
For sure, and on this Oklahoma side, it's just these 4 players and you're already seeing the big chain misses coming up for Takasaki. Unfortunately strong on the easy, but hidden a different ballpark entirely. Not really being matched by anyone on the Washington side, all holding pretty tight here.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of misses on this map. It is incredibly difficult, probably one of the hardest maps in the pool, even for the rating favored teams. It's only Vince in the entire lobby still holding on to combo. Everybody else has found 1 or multiple misses. Chagasaki is doing a good job of recovering. Accuracy has gone from 60 up to 70%, so a good job there to recover a little bit and get accustomed to the map. We did see Vince finally dropping that full combo, but now it's Ethan Tricks who has built up some recovery, has the highest combo in the lobby, and we're halfway through the map, Hubba. Washington has 2 times the score of Oklahoma. Oklahoma, they have points on the screen, just not quite as many as Washington.
Yeah, a bit of a rough go of it here. This map is also short, so at least it won't be a long, drawn-out affair such as the 300k on DT4 incident, and also very well doubling up on that score. But this is just a side effect of going against Washington. You will play these reading picks, and they will. There's no chance of them straying away from it anytime soon.
I believe this is, I mean, unless it was played in one of the earlier matches tonight, I believe this is the third match all weekend that we are seeing the Hidden 3. Not because the teams don't want to pick it, it is just a very difficult map to play, especially if you're not comfortable on the reading, and so it has been banned out very frequently. Actually, I can pretty sure we can check the ban stats on this one, and yeah, Hidden 3 actually seems like only with 6 bans, not quite as many as I was expecting.
Yeah, but still, I mean, you have Dumb Surfer on the board, and I'm pretty sure Dumb Surfer's been banned less than this, just difficulty-wise. More players being able to favor that stack reading over such a strong area aim map such as this.
And have to call out that score from Ethan Trick, 700k on a pick like that, very impressive. And I've gotten confirmation that is 8 bans on the Hidden 3, so a more expected number. And Oklahoma now have the pick. And, you know, it would be a power move if Oklahoma picked Hidden 1 themselves into Washington.
Well, they gotta get 1 point on the board. That would be a little bit of a throw, but
yeah, this is supposed to be the 6-1 tournament. Can't break the trend now.
It certainly feels like it. Yeah, Oklahoma still haven't touched this Hard Rock pool, but I think it might be a vibe for them, or maybe even a No Mod 1. Just get more scores on the No Mod 1. Why not? For fun.
Collie is not having a fun time with the players, with the referee in the chat. That's going to be great for the rest of the match, which, fortunately for Collie, might not last much longer. Oklahoma will take some time on their pick, and they're going to go for the No Mod 3. At least we can end it off with a banger, as this No Mod 3 is going to be 222 BPM, awkward aim / fast aim pick. But you've got some 222 bursts thrown in there as well that can be quite tricky.
Yeah, and this one is a pretty solid pick after their best venture was that Doku. This is about the next best option for them. It's a little bit tapping favored, but not as dire as a DT2, as a No Mod 4 option would be. I also wouldn't be so surprised if they went for like an egg pain. But this one is going to be the one. We're going to be closing it out potentially with Ave Mujica, the 222 BPM flow mechanics pick.
The No Mod 3 has been one of the most picked maps this weekend. It's just a fun map all around. Good song. It's kind of slightly more comfortable than some of the other picks in the pool in terms of patterning, in terms of skill set. And although it isn't easy, it is potentially a little bit easier than some unfamiliar skill sets, such as CS 8.9, I can't imagine most people are used to.
For sure, and we're going to be seeing Takasaki Yu and Asian back in the lobby now that the Hidden is gone. Bazinga being this big Oklahoma brick, playing every map thus far. And I mean, opting for no Ethan tricks here is pretty interesting, actually. That guy's been known to be a bit of a beast on these consistency picks, maybe just not as comfortable with it due to mod preference or otherwise.
And yeah, this is a good pick for Oklahoma. This is, I think, looking at the head-to-head scores, this is the one map that Oklahoma actually had a better score on than Washington. So if there was a map for Oklahoma to find themselves a point in this match, it would be the No Mod 3, as there was about a 400,000 point difference between these two teams when they each played the map. Again, unfortunately, it was White Yat who found a no mod 3. I think it was either a one slider break or a full combo with many slider ends dropped for White Yat. And so it's going to be a lot of pressure on Takasaki to kind of make up for that SC that may not show up this time around, as Takasaki finds the early miss, as everybody else in the lobby is going to hold for the time being.
Yeah, Asian also finding that early break, the vertical line check, as it were, striking out many a player, but Bazinga still holding on tight, as Vince finding the break on the other side, and with a map this long, certainly not over till it's over.
Oklahoma, they have at least a few minutes left in this match, potentially more. But if so, we're going to need to see a little bit more out of them, and we're going to need to see multiple misses from the likes of Verderix and Kulna. But it's going to be Bazinga instead finding the miss, and Asian missed earlier as well, is on a bit of a recovery, but that 100 combo is not going to do much against these big full combos on the side of Washington.
Yeah, and with that final one down, it is the Kulnuk Verderix show. Kulnuk having a hard time standing out amongst the crowd of Washington talent here. Going to be, unfortunately, finding the break after they called him out. But putting in the work here, everyone on each team is, and big recoveries actually coming up for the Oklahoma side. Asian dropping it, but Takasaki and Bazinga still the 2-2, and with that break from Vince actually, and the Bazinga breaks. It's only Takasaki now against Verderix's big FC hold, but he goes down. Okay, am I just the cursor? What's happening here?
Clearly, you know, just repeat the Washington players' names over and over again, and maybe that's how Oklahoma comes back in this match. You just forget commentary. Just repeat all three names over and over and over again on repeat until we get done with this match. And Oklahoma will make a historic comeback.
Chat, Oklahoma beat Arizona in a tiebreaker affair. Pretty close match between those two, but unfortunately, potentially the two weakest teams remaining to this point, and another break from Takasaki. It's just these two recoveries on the other Oklahoma players whose names I will not say, but Kulnuk, Vince, and Verderix, all with bigger combos than them, unfortunately, with already a 300k lead. A quarter of map remaining, but Kulnuk goes down. It's only Verderix and Vince. Verderix and Vince holding on in the end of this KI as we head into the solo.
Yeah, but whatever happens in the solo, this one is all but over, as Washington have put up some very impressive scores. But into the solo, let's see how many of these players can hold on to their combos, and I imagine we'll see quite a number of drops, but these players looking pretty solid.
My curses wore out. I used them all at once, and now it didn't work. Well, unfortunately, we may be saying goodbye to Oklahoma here. It will be another curse. This one stronger than most. No
There's still
6-1.
time, Hubba. There's still time. We could see the three-way disconnect from Washington.
Oh wait, that is a potential, maybe. But not a disconnect. They just like severely drop their pens.
I don't think that would be enough. It really does have to be 3 disconnects at this point. Even 1 disconnect might not cut it for Oklahoma. But that is going to be the end. Washington is going to clean this one up 6-0. A very strong performance from them. And a big congratulations. Unfortunately, we will wave goodbye to Oklahoma, as I imagine we'll be seeing them next year. But a solid performance for them. Oklahoma, I think this is one of their stronger performances throughout USC. Washington will be moving on to play Georgia, who is the 24 seed, but who have been making waves this USC, running the winner's bracket, finding upset after upset until they unfortunately ran into the Giants in NorCal, where they finally lost. But that could be a very exciting matchup next week.
For sure. And let me take a look at the bracket. There it is. Okay. It was Washington going against Georgia now. That is incredible work. I mean, they took out 8 and 9. 10 is next on their list for their track record. Just going down the row here. And if Oregon wins, they might have to go against 11 too. That would be funny.
Yeah, 8, 9, 10, 11, potentially, all in a row. With North Carolina, the 1 seed in between. But regardless, we have one more match left over to be played in USC. That is going to be 2 UTC Tuesday. So it's going to be tomorrow night for those of you in North America. And that's going to be between, I think it's Florida and Maryland.
Yeah, that'll be the final match of the weekend. A bit of a on-paper toss-up affair with some of these Florida players coming back for one last go-around, as it seems, trying to keep up their pace. But excited to see that matchup, the final one of the weekend. Also expect the pool showcase tomorrow, but I believe with that, that's going to be the end for us two.
That is going to do it for us. I do want to give credit to the Oklahoma players. When you have your star player missing, it can be very easy to, give up and get demotivated, but they did give it their best effort, even though it didn't pay off. They still showed up with some good scores, and once again, huge congratulations to Washington for the victory. Thank you, Hubba for the comms, James for streaming, Ivan iFlame, and of course, last but not least, thank you guys all for watching. I hope you have a good night and take care.
See you then.